Welcome to another amazing episode of TMC, where we are here to help you take your relationship from surviving to thriving. We want to welcome you to the TMC podcast. If this is your first time joining us, go ahead and subscribe. Today on TMC, we have a special guest joining us for our singles episode, Fern Roberson III. We're going to have a candid conversation with him, and we also have Jamila with us as well.
I was raised by my grandparents. I have a pretty large family on both sides, my mom's side and my dad's side. I've learned a lot about myself. Just taking out time to reflect, like we be so quick to put the blame on your partner or your ex. But yeah, we don't pay attention to the part we played into the big picture. And so some of the lessons I've learned is that, number one, don't rush into nothing. No matter how good the chemistry might be, no matter how good it might feel, you still got to take your time to learn somebody. Because a lot of people send out the representative, and that representative looks nice and very attractive. Yeah. And this is just me being straight up, us as men, sometimes we can look at the outside package, and we get attracted to that, but not knowing what's going on the inside. So the biggest lesson I learned was to just take my time and not to rush into anything.
And I agree 100%. It's definitely important to take your time and get to know someone so that the real them can stand up. Oftentimes in relationships or when we first meet someone, just like you said, their representative shows up or the very pleasant parts of them. And we don't know the ins and outs of that person or the real them until we've had to spend time with them.
Right. So I just want to sum this up. So you saying give it a day or two to get to know them, and then
no. See, that's the problem. I give it a day or two. I've been in some relationship with some amazing women, but a lot of the times I didn't pay attention to the fact that I wasn't ready to be in a relationship. And I brought a lot of baggage, a lot of old things into that relationship. And not only did I hurt myself, but I hurt my partner as well.
Wow, that's deep at the gate.
Right.
On July 9th, you made a post on Facebook that read, "Ladies, I don't care how good he may look, how good he may treat you, or how much you want him to be the one in quotation, for you. A relationship may be the last thing he needs at this time. He may need time to heal from some things before he can handle a relationship. We need to normalize this being okay. Be a friend to him if you truly care about him. If not, your hearts may continue to hurt from the pain he caused. Hashtag I am him."
Wow.
Yeah.
Powerful.
Just tell us a little bit about what led to that post before we jump into that, Fern.
Okay, so I'm one of those people that I tell people, man, what I post ain't about me or what I'm going through and yada, 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 right?
Mm-hmm.
The honest to God truth is that was exactly what I was dealing with at the time. I was kind of in a dark place. Not just like, just evil, but gloomy a little bit. Because as a man who's been through so much in life and hasn't healed from some of that stuff, I had to realize that I'm the problem. I was dating a young lady, and she's an amazing young lady. She knows what she wants in life. She knows where she wants to go, and she knows the type of partner she wants. And I'm an okay looking guy, attractive to some, and I'm a giver. And I was given all those things, but there was still something inside of me that hadn't been dealt with. And so slowly those things would resurface. And it wouldn't even be about our relationship, it would just be about life. I love my mom to death, but I will tell you our relationship hasn't been the best. And I've dealt with that ever since I was a child. But I haven't dealt with it, if you get what I'm saying. See, sometimes we can accept that this happened, this is why this is. But we don't stop it. And until you hear from those things, they'll continue to be a factor in your life. I ended up cutting the relationship short. And it was basically because I couldn't love her the way she needed to be loved. It wasn't about nothing she did. nothing about her personality, nothing about who she was. She was a great woman. Still to this day, still tries to be a friend of mine. Yeah. But I still have things I need to deal with. And until I deal with those things, like I meet women every day. That's just life. But I'm not ready to engage in a relationship with anyone. And that's just me being unselfish. If I can be the selfish dude and be like, yeah, I get your number, we can talk, we can date, we can get to know each other, bam, enter into a relationship. At the end of the day, I'm gonna hurt you. And I don't care how much we as men want to be in denial about it, that's what I'm gonna do. Cause eventually that same stuff is gonna resurface and you're gonna see it. I can only hide it for so long. Yeah. So it's like with that post, it was kind of like admittance to my past behavior. Mm-hmm. And this is the reason why. And so when some read it, it was like, you know, everybody was like, well said, true, the 100 emoji, all that good stuff. But not too many people really felt it though. Mm-hmm. And I had some men who contacted me personally and was like, this is a subject that, you know, us as men, we don't talk about too often because not too many of us want to admit that we're broken. We don't want to admit that there's a problem with us because the way society sees that every day we hit that door, we got to be a strong Black man. We can't show any form of weakness. We can't show any form of vulnerability or we'll be taken advantage of. And I mean, it's a lot of us out here who walk around and we deal with this every day internally on our own. We don't have anyone to vent to about it. We can't tell the women that we're involved with because then now she might see me a different way and not want to deal with it. Yeah. And so it's like we're all just damaged goods in a sense.
Yeah, I definitely can relate to what you're saying. I mean, even with me, I mean, there was a lot of things, a lot of brokenness and a lot of hurt that I was dealing with. And me being hurt, you can't give somebody something you don't have. And I realized that. And I just, man, I dealt with my issues. Man, I'm in my 40s now. I dealt with my issues with mid-20s. Man, this is really interesting, man, because most people, I mean, including myself, I'd be honest with myself, man. I mean, where you at right now, man, just to really acknowledge that, man, I didn't have the mental capacity to even acknowledge that and acknowledge that reality, man. How did you get there?
I can say that as a child, I learned a lot from my granddad. And he instilled a lot in me that I exercise today. As far as being mentally tough, I've been through a lot. Yeah. Like if I told you half I've been through in my short time of being on this earth, you'd be like, wow. Going through hard times prepares you mentally. Because it'll do one or two things. It'll either make you or break you. I allowed it to make me stronger, make me more steadfast. Like as a young man, I caused so much pain to so many people. That's why I don't want to do that no more. And so my focus is to try to be a better person, not just for myself, but for everybody around me. And it's hard to do that when you're operating from past hurt and past pain.
Let me ask you this, because, and I want to talk to women, single, married, divorced, whatever your status is right now. Facebook make it cute by saying it's complicated. I mean, whatever status you have, I've learned that there's a lot of women that really think they're the one that can fix that man. So let me ask you this question. Do you think there's a woman out there that can fix you?
Okay. So I say this, I made another post concerning that too. There's not a woman in this world that can fix me. Yeah. Because a man won't be fixed unless he want to be fixed. And he has to acknowledge that there's a problem and there's an issue and be willing to do whatever it takes to fix that issue. And until he's ready to deal with it, everyone he come in contact with, he's going to be toxic too.
That's good.
Yeah, you are
excellent.
That's good. I'm telling you, I can take this conversation.
I was going to say you jumped in on the deep end.
No, because I understand, and I know this is real. No. And the issue is you actually have women really think this.
Oh yeah, we do.
And they think this over and over again, like they can be the one, because women are fixers.
Yes.
Women is trying to be a mother to. You can't be a mother to your husband, or your mother to who you trying to marry or be in a relationship with.
And I agree. And the verbiage I use deep in is because this is real. We like all the way in already. And I, as a woman, know for sure that it's true. Even when we don't verbally admit it, we think, oh, I'm gonna be the one that's going to change him, or my love is going to be the thing that changes him. If I love him enough, it's going to make him be the man that I want him to be. If I do this, if I do that, whatever, we think that our actions can help the situation, right? That's how we think. And even though many of us will never admit it, we will be in a relationship with someone that displays certain behaviors or certain characteristics or certain attributes, and we think that there's something we can do to fix it. So when I said you jumped in on the deep end, because I already feel like you done already taught a class already just from talking, because this is something that that my sisters, women, we need to hear this, especially for those that are dating, those that are single, desire to be dating. We need to hear this, and we need to hear it from the horse's mouth so that we know it's not me, another woman telling you something she thinks. There's two men on here, a single man, a married man, and they're telling you that this is real. And if I love it when you said he has to first acknowledge that there is a problem. He has to have a desire to fix that problem. And then he's, of course, going to have to do the work himself to fix that problem or whatever the problem is. And I think that, that's a nugget all by itself. But it's been so much. You were talking and I was trying to be quiet so I don't cut you off, because I'm like, it is just so much that you said already. Even when you went back to the part where you were talking about you ended a relationship because you couldn't love someone the way they needed to be loved or care for them the way they needed to be cared for. I'm just sitting over here like, wow, you definitely have to come to a point of self-awareness and being real with yourself to say, you're an amazing person. Because that's what I heard you say about this young lady. She's an amazing person. I'm not on here like, oh, she crazy. Oh no, she throw it out. No, she's an amazing person. Just at this time in my life, I'm not able to love her the way that she needs to be loved. I think that's something else that my sisters need to hear, because we think, oh, you're a good guy. Oh, he's awesome. He's sweet. He this, he that. But he still may have things going on that doesn't allow him to love you or to care for you the way that you need to be. And so if he desires to, walk away, then we need to let him do so, because he could heal. And then maybe later on in life, it could work out. Who knows, right?
Now, where the problem is that don't nobody want to be by themselves. Be lonely.
Yeah.
And so, and this is me admitting my own faults. I'll find a woman and she'll be attractive. Mm-hmm. And me knowing where I'm at, knowing I'm not ready for a relationship, knowing I'm not ready to give her what she may want, I still engage. I still attempt to talk to her, get to know her, knowing I still ain't dealt with my mess. I've done that on numerous occasions. And it's like, you tend to think, well, I'm all right, it's cool. And then something happened and you triggered. And once you get triggered, that old stuff start resurfacing. And now, because y'all been engaging for about 3-4 months now, she's starting to wonder where this person comes from. Not knowing he been there the whole while. I just been suppressing it. So now I'm seeing this form of hurt that triggered something from my past. And now she's wondering, okay, how do I deal with this? I mean, like, is this really who you are? I've had women tell me, like, I didn't know this side of you. But here it is, over the course of us getting to know each other, I've hinted at it. I've shown you bits and pieces of it. You just didn't see the collective whole.
Wow.
But it's like, okay, as a man, like I said, I don't want to be by myself. I still want to have somebody to hold on to at night. I still want to be able to hear a soft voice when I come home. So it's a challenge to suppress my own wants and desire, and also be considerate of other people's needs too.
Fern, what you talk about from a single woman's perspective, and I actually just lived through something very, very similar to what you're talking about. But one of the things that in retrospect, I asked myself is like, what did I miss? And I've had a very wise person tell me is that I didn't miss anything per se, because when you meet someone, like you said, that initial, like you're joyous, you're happy, and they don't expose that part of you. So you are in that place where you're thinking, this is great, this is good. It is exactly what you said. It's not until that person is triggered, and that could be a woman or a man, because I think I've had the same thing, to where I was great until that person, he did something and it triggered me. And I'm like, oh, wow, I didn't even know I had that trigger. And then all of a sudden it just goes, it explodes and it goes. But I think for women, like one of the things we would like to know, or like I was asking the person, like, what did I miss? What signs did I miss? Because what I encountered initially was a person who did acknowledge that they had some things to work through, but never saw any of the brokenness that caused hurt. So I think that's a very important point, that, you know, a lot of times it's hard to spot that when you're just meeting someone and you can't detect the brokenness, because when you're happy and you're, you know, you're excited, you know, that honeymoon stage of, this is somebody new, I'm discovering that person, you don't get to see those things that can later be issues or red flags.
Right.
What you're talking about, Jamila, goes back to what Fern said in the very beginning about the lessons learned in taking time. Because even when we talk about the idea of thinking that we can fix someone, normally that doesn't show up in the beginning. You don't go in a relationship with the mindset that he jacked up and I can fix him. It's once you're already in and you are emotionally attached to that person, then you start to see these flags pop up. Like he said, someone would say, I didn't see that part of you. And it's kind of like a part where you thinking like, I don't know if I can deal with this, but somewhere on the inside of you, you're thinking, oh, well, maybe I can be the one to change this. I think later is when those behaviors are displayed. Later is when that idea of fixing someone comes up. I don't think it's in the beginning phase, because I mean, typically when you meet someone, you are in that, what they call the honeymoon phase, where you're excited. I mean, you ready to talk to them. We almost go back to like that whole elementary thing. I like you. Do you like me? Bubble, bubble. You see them and you smiling and they number pop up and you smiling because it's on the phone. It's not till, you know, through time that things become displayed that you start to see. And when you see those things, sometimes as adults in relationships, we don't make the decision to say, hold up, maybe this is something that is a red flag. Maybe this is something I need to pay attention to. Maybe this is something we could talk about. Even when you said that women, there's been women that tell you, I've never seen this side of you. I didn't know this side of you. It's like, what is your idea or what's your mindset when you see that side of that person? Do you begin to evaluate, you know, what led to this, or what is this? Do you conversate about that? Do you talk about where it comes from, or do you just keep rolling with it, thinking that, you know, as long as we just keep loving on each other and hanging out, it's gonna be all right?
Yeah. And you know what? That goes to another conversation, was like, what disappointed you the most, your expectations or the person?
Wow. Okay.
And what goes with that is that when we meet someone, we already have expectations in our mind. Like, we don't know this person from Adam, but because of the conversation we had, the time we spent together, in my mind, I've created this expectation that this is who you are. And so, like, for me, I'm gonna always say that my expectations are what caused me the most pain. Because I can't fault someone for being who they are. I can't say I'm mad at you because you displayed some attributes that I didn't agree with. If I would have took out time, went in with no expectations, and just let you be who you are, your natural state and your natural habitat, and then made a conscious decision as to whether is this something I want to deal with, is someone who I want to be with, and decided to leave or stay, I can't be mad at nobody but myself.
Okay.
I was gonna say, I heard recently, just a few weeks ago, a man told me that he's been married several times, and one of the things he said that he learned is that love never fails, expectations do. And it's exactly what you're saying. And I think it's so true, is that we do build these expectations, and I won't say necessarily erroneous sometimes, it's just human nature. And then when the expectations are not met or they fall short, that's when disappointment comes in. But one of the things that I realized too, that one of the things about your post that really struck me is the candor and the honesty with it. And I think that's usually is what's missing and can lead to a lot of unnecessary hurt feelings is that candor and the directness and the honesty. That's why I applaud you for that post, and I applaud you for where you are, because I think a lot of times that's missing. But for me, it goes back to when we're saying that we love someone, and especially if you're a believer and you're saying that you love another person, first you have to evaluate that person through the agape love. Is that, and when you really look at agape, it's I'm going to put that person's needs above my own. And I applaud you, because it takes a special person to really walk in that and say, although I don't want to be alone, although I'm lonely and I have these needs, I'm going to put you above me and let you know that I'm not really able to engage on the level that you need, desire, or deserve.
I had this question I wanted, because I didn't want to hog the conversation, because I believe this happens a lot too in relationships. You know, people that's been married for years, and as a child or innocence taken away. I mean, these things really impact who you are and who you become and how you react to different situations. So I want to talk about deflection, because I believe deflection is so huge, because it is so easy. Because I'm looking back at myself. I mean, from 20 to 26 years old, before I started working on me, when I realized I was a problem. I had issues between me and my father, and those issues came over into my marriage. And I'm gonna tell you, the first 5 years, I had no idea I was the problem. I assumed everything that happened, it was her. Even the smallest, minute things that happened, I blamed her and didn't take responsibility. So I want to talk about the danger of deflection, because it is so easy. Let's be honest. It is so easy, because here I am. It's me. I'm looking at you. I'm looking at Jamila. I'm looking at you guys, and I can see you. But at this particular time, I can't see myself. So, and it's so easy to look at everything else. I mean, I think we're the best counselors with everybody else's relationship. But when it comes time for our own, you know, it can get real difficult, right? I mean, so right. Let's talk about that, because I believe that is a silent killer. That's not only killing relationships, but killing people, because we tend to deflect. And let's talk about that.
I believe that the way society is today, it's a selfish society. We're taught to basically self-preservation. And I don't have a problem with the whole self-love movement and all that good stuff. And so when it comes to that, it's self-centered. And so with us being self-centered, we're never going to take the blame for nothing. We're accountable. But man, if you bring up accountability in any group, any organization, any relationship, I guarantee you it's looked at in a negative way. Like, I was raised that accountability was a good thing. You have to have someone who can check you, someone who can tell you when you're doing right, because we don't always see it. We don't always see ourselves, just like you just said. And so if I'm not seeing myself, I have to have someone who can. And so when it comes to the relationship, I'm not going to see myself. I'm going to see everything that's being done towards me, because now we've adapted to a victim mentality. Everybody's after me. Everybody wants to do me wrong. Everybody has ulterior motive. You know, nobody goes in any type of relationship, situation, or business relationship being vulnerable. They're always on the defense. And so when something is brought to me, I'm going to be defensive. You see, it's not about what I did or me taking an evaluation and being like, was I wrong? What part did I play in that? You know, how can I change that? No, it's always, why did she do that? Why did she, watch this, why did she make me feel like that?
Make me feel. Wow.
See, that's the thing. It's like, it's always what somebody did to us, but not what we doing to somebody. And we could go on for years as men in relationships. And you know, okay, you meet a new woman. Any smart woman gonna ask you about your past relationships. And the reason why she asked me is because she want to see, what did you do in that past relationship? She already expecting for you to tell her what your ex did.
They did.
Because all we gonna do is be like, well, my ex, she burnt all my clothes up. She took all my money out of my bank account. She cheated on me. What did you do though? What did you do? Because no natural woman in her right mind gonna do all that stuff.
Speak on it. Speak on it.
It's like we don't want to take accountability for anything. And so being in a relationship, I had to realize I'm not only accountable to myself, but I'm accountable to my partner as well. I need some type of mentor or male figure in my life that I could go to with these problems and these issues. And I could be accountable to him too. And he could be like, well, Fern, you know, you was wrong. Mm-hmm. And I have to be willing to listen and be like, well, how can I make it right? But we don't do that. We, like you said, we deflect. Mm-hmm. If she come in the house and I just got in from work, she just got in from work, and she telling me about the trash that's supposed to been took out that morning. You know, the first thing I'm gonna say, I was in a rush. You could have took it out. You seen it right there. Now, I'm not gonna do that as man. My granddad would come out his grave and beat my behind. But what I'm saying, sometimes we make excuses for the issues instead of taking care of the issues. Instead of only like, well, babe, I'm sorry. I wasn't thinking about I had so many things on my mind when I walk out the door. It won't happen again. Because most women, if you tell them it won't happen again and you show them that it's not going to happen again, because so many of us dudes, we say stuff, but then we continue with that same behavior. I can't speak about the women, but I can speak about this man sitting right here in front of you. Absolutely. And so deflecting becomes a habit. It actually becomes kind of like almost a way of life. And we take it from one relationship to another, and it hadn't been dealt with until you get that eureka moment where you realize maybe I am the problem.
I guess my question is that I think, you know, when we go back to like AA and they said acknowledging is the first step.
Right.
And then one of the things that I love about the podcast is that we talk about going from surviving to thriving. So as a single woman, what is it that we should be doing to go from surviving to thriving when we're out here trying to date and when we're trying to actually build lifelong partnerships?
That is a great question. Great question.
The best advice I could give to a single woman is to be patient. Best advice I could give is to be patient. And what we end up having is we have a lot of singing. I'm just talking from my experience. I come in contact with a lot of women who have been, I'm gonna say, burnt by men. Mm-hmm. And what I mean by that is they gave their everything. They allowed themselves to be vulnerable, and the man took advantage of it. And so now when they do meet a man who's sincere and is all about them and wants to grow with them and build with them, they have to guard up. Because now they're operating from a place of hurt. Instead, like you said, now they're in survival mode. Instead of thriving, they're surviving. And so it creates a cycle. Because now she's going to hurt that man. And then that man's going to go hurt a woman. Then that woman's going to go hurt a man. And so on and so forth. And so in order to stop that, we have to stop taking the stuff from our past relationships into our new relationships. And that takes time. A lot of people go from one relationship to the next. I just got out this relationship. I feel this void. I feel something missing. I want somebody to hold on to, somebody to be close with, do life with. But I still got all this mess over here that I ain't dealt with yet. Same thing as with men, both ways. We all need to heal. We got to deal with our mess before we go in and call ourselves being partners with someone else. Because if we don't, they're going to be attached to our mess too. And the cycle begins all over again.
That is so true. So true.
Very evident in many relationships. And sometimes it's what you see after the fact, the aftermath, what they call it. You know, the aftermath when the relationship is over, then you see how that person's brokenness affected what was or what could have even been a thriving relationship. So what I hear you saying is time and evaluation. I hear that over and over and over again, time and evaluation. So if a relationship ends, then there needs to be time and evaluation, time in between that and the next one. And even so far as if you just experience some type of loss or hurt, even in another area of your life, there still has to be time and evaluation. So time for you to heal from that, and as well as time to evaluate what happened.
I'm not big on astrology, but I'm a counselor. And I love hard. And I can love fast too. I've always been that person who's like, I'm not putting a timetable on nothing. I'm not saying we got to be together this long before I tell you I love you. If I love you, I'm going to tell you I love you. I'm not going to hold that back from you just because somebody in their mind decided that it was too early. But now what I do need to do, we can check our emotions. I might not be able to keep my emotions from growing and developing, but I can check my emotions. So I need to be like, you know what? I might feel this way, but let me put it in check. And the problem is that we hunger for love so much that we accept just anything.
Wow.
And that's where the problem comes in. That like so many people, I'm not gonna sell the yada yada. Let the right person come along.
Uh-oh.
It won't be you selling. It'll be you seeing something you want.
No. Wow.
Because you want it to make it work.
Ooh, we.
Yeah.
I not Coach Jamila. I know you got something to say.
I definitely have a question if she don't, because I was like, I'm listening to Cedric, I'm listening to you, and I'm like, okay, I need the brothers to give my sisters, give us some advice. How do we do that? How do we do that? How do we get to know someone? How do we create that atmosphere of growing, creating a relationship with that person without going in too deep, too fast? I mean, is there some advice for that? How do we do that?
Because I think we also have to frame it, because one of the things you said in your post was to be his friend. But one of the things I even take issues with that, because it's hard to be someone's friend. So if someone that you are attracted to, someone that you feel like meets some of the things that you're looking for, it's hard to be a friend. Number one, someone that you want something from, and two, it's hard to be a friend to somebody that's really broken. Because one of the things I pray, it was in relationship to a certain group of people in my life. I said, God, how can I be around broken people and not let their brokenness break me? And I'm still trying to walk through that and see how that looks. So, like Sean said, good, looking for advice, but also how does that really look in real life? Especially when the man starts hitting at things, and it seems you have the friend label, but it seems more than just a friend. So can you speak to that? Can you give us some insight?
One thing we know about anything that's broken, it got sharp edges, right?
Oh.
And it can cut you. So you got to watch how you handle it.
That's good, man.
With a broken man, you got to watch how you handle it. And I'm going to tell you, 90% of the men you come in contact with are going to be broken in some form or fashion. It might be a little piece, it might be a big piece. So it's like, it's not that you discard somebody because they're broken. You have to make a conscious decision, and am I willing to deal with it? Am I willing to walk with them as they go through their healing process? You don't take up on that healing process, but you have to support. So it's not so much as like, oh, he broken, I don't want to have nothing to do with him. Oh, she broken, I don't want to have nothing to do with her. It's you just going in and doing an evaluation and some praying, getting some type of wise counsel, not just your own decision, not just your own emotions. Don't listen to somebody that's been hurt 1,000 times telling you men ain't no good. It's just you making a decision like, is this somebody that's worth it? Because what happens is us as men, we don't think nobody think we're worth it.
Wow.
That's basically what society is telling us every day. When you turn on the TV and you see black men being killed by the police, when you see the black on black crime, just when you seeing the value of a black man in America being decreased day by day, you tend to like challenge your own worth in your own head. And so as a woman, the first thing you have to do is realize if this man is sincere about you or not. Because every man you come across ain't looking for a relationship. Some looking for a place to stay. That's a whole nother subject. But if this is a sincere man and he's telling you about his issues, he's telling you what's going on with him, you make a choice, just like we're doing everything in life. Do you leave or do you stay? And if you think it'll be beneficial for both of you, not just for him, because if you're doing it just to benefit him, you're not going to be happy. Your happiness won't be taken into consideration, and you'll be miserable and become bitter. After that relationship don't work, guess where that miserableness and the bitterness go? Into your next relationship.
So I love that tip you said on this, how to handle. And I have to say something about, man, this woman right here, man, when we got married, man, I was broken. And you know what? In spite of all that, it's the way she handled me. It was things she seen about me that I didn't even see in myself. But man, she loved me on that level, man. And I'm going to tell you this, man, I've been married to this woman 23 years. I mean, somebody have anything to say other than this, please leave a comment, because I say this freely and I have nothing to hide. 23 years of marriage, I never cheated on this woman. But here's the thing. I mean, it's something this woman at a point in my life when I was so broken. I mean, I was broken. I felt worthless. I felt like nothing. She thought something of me, and she helped me. She was there to kind of help put those pieces together. And because of that, man, it's like, I don't know. And I believe it's a man thing. I really believe it's a man thing. It's like now in my mind, I'm like, man, it's almost like, I mean, it's not like a game like I owe her, but it's like, man, she valued me so much when I didn't value myself. I'm like, I'm spending the rest of my life. I'm spending the rest of my life trying to give this woman everything I possibly can. Everything I do is for her because, man, I could have been dead. I could have been in jail. I could have been shot and killed. And this woman thought about me, man, when I was on the streets, when I was smoking drugs. This woman, when I was drinking, this woman thought about me. Man, she thought about me, man. I done got, see, that's the emotional part. I done got emotional. But man, she thought about me, and I'm forever, not forever in debt, man, but just like forever. It's like, man, it's like, man, it's the least I can do. It's like, man, it's like this woman got me to where I am right now from the grace of God. And because of her, it's like, man, you know what? I'm gonna spend the rest of my life, whatever she want, I'm gonna do whatever. I'm like that lion in that lion in the forest. I'm whatever I gotta kill to give this woman not killing and murder, not breaking the law, but whatever I have to do to bring the food to the house, I'm gonna do that, man. And that's my perspective. It's based on what you said, man. It just really hit me in the heart, man, of what exactly happened in my situation.
And that's the thing. So many women want to be that woman, but you have to find a man that's willing to allow you to be that woman.
That's good.
There you go. That's it right there.
That's the thing. You got to find the man who's going to allow you to be that woman. Because truth be told, we need y'all. I don't believe there's no such thing as a self-made man, and it's like we go through life being told we got to get it on our own. We have to do it on our own. But we really do need y'all. And like you said, she showed you that you were worthy when you thought you weren't. And the feeling is a sense of gratitude and appreciation. Like, you saw value in me when I couldn't see value in myself. And like you said, it's the least you can do. It's the least. And that's what relationships are about, though.
Yeah.
Like when God said a helpmeet, he wasn't talking about a maid or a servant. You know what I'm saying? He was talking partner.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like, this is what you're missing. This is what you need. It's like kind of like a recall. Like, we made this product, but we need to put this in it in order to make it function more properly. And us as men, we need that woman in order to function more properly. And it's not just any woman. And that's where the problem comes in at, because we want just that woman that gets our eyes. Yeah. But what she did was she showed you her heart, and that's what attracted you more and more to her. Yeah. And so at the end of the day, some people don't know how to love because they hadn't been raised on love. Yeah. It goes back to the surviving and thriving situation. A lot of people still in survival mode.
Yeah.
How can I give you something that I don't know nothing about?
Right.
Mm-hmm. You want this man to love you, but he don't know love. Mm-hmm. All he know is making it to the next day.
Yeah, but she showed it to me.
There you go.
Tell me love. There you
go. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And then, like, us as men, we want this woman to love us, but she was never given love because she didn't have a father in the house. Yeah. Her mom had a bunch of boyfriends, but she didn't see how a man was supposed to correctly love a woman. So with us not having I had that example because I seen my granddaddy love everyone in my family, from my grandmother to my aunts, uncles, cousins, sisters, brother, everybody. So that example was there, but a lot of people don't have that example. And then when we go down to love, I can love you the way I was taught how to love.
Come on now.
But that might not be your love language. See, here it is. Some people think, I can go buy you this, buy you that. That's me showing you I love you. But really, I needed your time to listen to what I was dealing with. I needed to know that you was there. So it's like, we have to learn, okay, how do you need me to love you? But that's the question we're afraid to ask. Because then we got to feel like we don't know what's going on. I keep talking about these posts, but it was another post a woman made. I wanted to come in so bad. Oof. In my soul to come in. She said, I'm not teaching no man how to love me.
How else will you know?
Thank you. Exactly.
He didn't grow up with you. He hadn't been around you. Hopefully he ain't psychic.
Right. And so it goes back to who's that had that song, Music Soul Child, Teach Me How to Love. Sometimes us as men, we ain't got all the answers. And like some of us have been in survival mode for most of our life.
Yeah.
But we done found this woman. She amazing to us. In my heart, I feel like I love her, but I don't know how to love her the way she needs to be loved. And it's just like a child when they hungry. If they don't tell me they hungry, how I know? So if you're not telling me how to love you, what I'm doing wrong, and I'm open to correction, I'm open to trying to get it right, there's no way we're going to work. And you're going to go and tell your friends, oh, he just didn't know how to love me. He couldn't do this. You never told him, though. He was never afforded the opportunity to learn you. Because the way I love those girl ain't going to be the same way I love you.
It goes back to the podcast that Cedric and Sean did about expectations. That's an unspoken expectations, but it is asinine to expect someone to be able to pick up on that without you voicing that. Mm-hmm. If you like chocolates, voice that, say, hey, I like chocolates, or hey, I don't like, or such stuff. And I think it goes back to the beauty of when you're single and you're unmarried, the best thing you can do is learn yourself, but then so that you'll be able to articulate who you are when you get into a relationship. Because I think a lot of times that's some of the detriment, is that we don't know how to articulate our thoughts, our experiences, our emotions, our desires to another person, but we want them to be able to just pick on that naturally. And I think that's unfair. So it is so important that we are able to articulate, able to express, but then also able to ask those important questions about what are your expectations and what are your expectations of me?
Absolutely. And that, when you said that, that made me think about when Fern was talking about earlier in the podcast, when he was talking about expectations and time. And so as you were talking, Jamila, when I put those things together, in that time of you spending with that person and getting to know them, then that's when we should be having these conversations about what our expectations are and what our expectations of them are, or what our expectations of a relationship period is. He also talked about, you talk about past relationships and things that person has been through. So, because sometimes we expect things from someone that they're not able to give, and they may not be able, may not be that they can't give it to you at all. It's just in that time and in that season, they're not able to give it to you. Or maybe at that point in time in their life, they're not able to give it to you. And I think that when we were talking and we talked about being friends and all of that, I think if we start from that, like when you're kids on the playground, you get to know the person, you get to know what kind of toys they like to play with versus the toys you like to play with, the things you like to do. And as you're getting to know them and you're talking about what you both like and what you don't like and all of that, if you stay in the mind frame of we're friends, we're talking about our expectations, we're talking about our understanding of a relationship. So you're getting to know them, and you're constantly unpacking these things. And so therefore you can have more clear expectations and understand if this person is able to give this to me. And that's something we also talked about, looking, not just automatically dismissing someone, but looking at where they currently are, and am I willing to walk this out with them as they go to where they're trying to go?
One of the things I would love for both Cedric and Fern to do is, because Fern said something, he said that he has talked to a lot of amazing women. And I think a lot of women are disappointed because when you do hear that you're amazing and there's nothing wrong with you, but you continue to have these unsatisfactory experiences while you do have the desire to have that, to be married. So talk to the woman who feel like I'm amazing, but I keep running into situations and relationships that are not fulfilling. Because I think one of the disconnect is that because I'm amazing, this should work out. Or, society tells me this. And it's the opposite. You see it a lot with men. They think that they're a catch. But I think the same happens with women. They're told you're amazing, you're beautiful, and all this other stuff. So if I'm all these things, why is it not working out? Can you encourage the women? And I think the whole podcast should really be an encouragement to them, but can you speak directly to them?
The main thing I could tell any woman that's listening is to continue to work on herself, continue to make herself great.
Absolutely.
Be patient and wait for that man to come find you. Because when a man wants something, he goes after it, and nothing in this world can stop him from getting it. The most dangerous person in this world is a man with a made up mind. Once a man has made his mind up on you, nothing's gonna stop him from coming after you. And so continue to build, continue to walk in faith and by faith, and just wait for God to send that man your way. Don't try to rush the process, because that's what it is. It's a process. Because the right man will come at the right time when he's right for you.
I mean, really, he summed it up. I mean, that's really, I mean, that's it. That's it. I mean, it's really just working on yourself. You remember those stories, Fern, when we were kids, those treasure hunts? Men always went on the treasure hunts. I mean, those was pretty awesome. I always wanted to go on the adventure, to go on the treasure hunt. And the thing about treasure is the value of it's always hidden, because if it was out in the opening, people are just annihilated. So it's like, if you have that value, you know who you are. It's like, just really do what you have to do, and he's going to find you. That's it.
Yeah, basically.
This is awesome.
Oh, it's going
right,
to.
and I know it will. I know it will.
We spend so much time, everybody, and social media promote it like we all have it together. And people are hurting because there's broken people acting like they're whole. And you're lying to yourself. Stop lying to yourself. That's like going to the hospital and hurting and saying nothing is wrong. The doctor can't help you if you say you're okay. And I believe that's the big problem in our society today. Everybody got it together.
Or like you said, or the perpetuation of that image that we have it together. Like, we'll slap on fake joy when we go out, I'm joy, or we'll post a picture, I'm on vacation, but you're on vacation crying every night. You still feel empty inside. And so you're right. And it's not to bash social media. Social media has been a wonderful tool in my life that has helped me accomplish a lot of things that God wants me to accomplish. But sometimes when we have these highlights of life, we don't really get to see the full picture. You know how you can crop a picture out and you crop what you don't want out? That's what happens. We're cropping our stories, but I am not who I am without some of these negative experiences in my life. I would not be the Jamila I am today without going through the death of my father at 15 or a heartache at 21. I wouldn't be who I am. And so I can't crop those things out and still have the same version of me.
So Fern, if someone wanted to connect with you and what you're doing, where should they go?
You can always find me on Facebook, Roberson III. Instagram was Fern_the_3rd. Those basically the main two ways you can contact me and see what's going on. I really enjoyed it though. I really do.
We hope that you enjoyed today's episode. And if you did, go ahead and subscribe. Click the like button, turn on your notifications so you'll be notified when we upload a video every week. And if you're listening on iTunes, rate the podcast and leave a review. That helps us get the word out. We also want to invite you to head on over to our podcast, Lead to Greatness, where my husband is interviewing entrepreneurs and great leaders every week.
So we want to thank you for joining us today on TMC. Looking forward to hanging out with you again on next week as we continue to help you take your relationship from surviving to thriving. Bye. See you next week.